welcome to the Vegan Stew. Happy Wednesday to you all. Thank you to Rebel Cheese, the sponsor for this week's talks. Prize packs for this month's contest have been graciously donated by Hodo Foods, Follow Your Heart, Cinnaholic, Revolution Gelato, Terra Seed, and Fabolish. As always, we invite our viewers to enter that monthly contest at virtualvegfest.com and click on the contest tab for details. Enter just by liking and or subscribing to our social media and Virtual Veg Fest YouTube channel. You're entered to win one of those amazing vegan prize packs. So let's welcome everyone in. Hello, Helene from Triangle Veg Fest and Veg Fest Expos. Kelly Kerr from Climate Healers. Marla Rose from Vegan Street. And that's it for us right now. So, what's going on in vegan news? Who's got a story? Oh no, we can't be quiet like this. What's going on?
Marla, you can hear us?
Yeah.
There you go.
I can, but I had told you guys in our very private top secret chat that just off the top of my head, I know that there was a study that came out, review journal, that a whole food plant-based vegan diet is likely to cause quite a bit more longevity than previously thought, and the earlier you start with it, the better long-term results you'll get with it. Something like, I believe from what I remember, something like if you start in your 20s, you might be expected to live an additional 12 years beyond what would be normal for your genes or whatever. But anyway, I did tell you guys I shouldn't do the news this week.
Like, everyone likes to hear from Marla, so I think it's okay. I was very excited to read that news article as well. I went vegetarian when I was 20, and then I've been vegan for like 6 years now, and it just feels good to know that without even trying, I'm doing something really amazing for my own health, not just the health of the planet and health of the animals.
Right.
So that was very exciting. And I've been sharing that with everyone who will listen to me.
That's awesome, Kimberly. Just so everyone knows, don't forget to
Everybody
put your comments and your suggestions and questions in the comment box, and we'll definitely address them. And to subscribe to the Vegan Stew on YouTube and hit the little notification button so that you know when we go live, which is fantastic. Having Kelly on the show is amazing because we get the Canadian perspective because we're international now. So we're going to throw it at Kelly. Hopefully Marla's connection will improve.
Sure. So I know last week I spoke about the convoy that's going on here, and I know that's not vegan related, but if anyone's keeping up with the news, there was a hack in the donation websites because they moved the GoFundMe shut down the donation, so they moved on to this other website, and the hacker hacked all the information of the people who donated to this convoy. And unfortunately, we are seeing vegan companies in this list, including one that gave a donation of over $1,000. So it's very disappointing to me anyway to see vegans, donating money away from the animals and towards, this illegal protest, which is what I believe it is.
So why is it illegal?
Really a siege, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just they're inhibiting the movement of goods and services, and it's just become more than a protest, really, in my opinion. So, the fact that vegans, are giving money, for these people to continue to, paralyze a city and make a very large city of, over 500,000 people feel unsafe to be in their own city is very disappointing.
So
Right.
Kelly, so we
Yeah,
can
there was that.
segue. Oh, one sec, Marla.
Mhm.
So we can segue into our main topic. How do you know
Yeah.
what you are sharing with us is truth as opposed to bogus?
So the hackers download. They have a site that they've downloaded all the information onto. So many people have taken that list and have looked at the disseminated it and looked at the information, and so you could find this list. Like if you go online, there's a few Twitter accounts that are sharing this list. And so one vegan company came up for the $1,000 and over donation, so it's clear it's there. And we know it because some people who donated, especially large amounts of money, are coming forward because they can't deny it. It's a list. They're on the list, right? This vegan company is deleting every comment on their Instagram page of people asking them, did you donate to them? So to me, that's very telling if you are deleting these comments instead of addressing it one way or the other. Right. If you didn't, come forward and say, I did not donate, but it's clearly they did if they don't want any, comment on it.
Conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, it is shady. Yeah, there was a little, I don't know what that sound is, but there was a little story on All Things Considered today about how a lot of the people who went down towards here are also now being exposed to
Definitely having tech issues.
Yeah,
The tech issue night.
I'm sorry about that. I don't think is it. Can you hear me?
You're very in and out. Like
Mm.
we're not getting full sentences, which is making it hard. And poor Sangita is clearly having trouble, so she'll keep popping in and out. Please bear with us. That's the joy of being live, and because this stuff happens, and there's a lot to talk about, but hopefully we'll be able to do it.
I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but it's super windy here today. So I wonder if some of the stuff got like door. I don't know if any of that has anything to do with it, but it's weird for sure. Should we just go on while we can?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interested in today's topic.
I know.
Yeah, I'm very interested.
I want Marla to be able to flow and everyone to hear you, to give this topic justice instead of it being in and out. So, I mean, if we can get that to work, that'd be great. If not, I'd love to push the topic to next week and just have a conversation this week, because it's too important to skip over, to be like, oh, tech issues, let's just not do it. So,
right.
Yeah. Let's see if
I agree with you. I would that works for me.
Yeah, because I mean,
I'll see what it is. I don't.
Because you keep
Just
cutting
saying,
in and
there's
out.
nothing different on my end.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing different on my end. I don't know.
It's so hard. I know. It's not easy, but Kimberly, what are we going to talk about?
Let's see.
We got two exhausted people, and Marla freezing, Sangita popping in and out, and Kelly looks great.
Actually, another news article that I was going to bring up as well about the beluga whales in Connecticut.
Talk about the beluga whales, the poor beluga whale, actually.
Yeah, so there's a marine park here in Niagara Falls, Ontario, in Canada, that sold their beluga whales to a place, Mystic Aquarium in Connecticut, and the second of the 5 whales that they acquired for research purposes has died there, and the other one died in August of last year. And obviously, there was a lengthy legal battle, over this, and animal rights activists trying to, sue the transportation of this, and which obviously we ended up losing. But again, I mean, I don't have to say this. We're obviously against animal captivity in any of its form, and this just goes to show, what stress can do to them and how sensitive they are, that they didn't even last, 6 months without coming.
That's awful. I've been to Mystic. I've been to the Mystic Aquarium a long time ago. So long time ago. And that makes me very sad to hear, because the best place for those whales would have been, they probably couldn't go back out into the ocean because of being in captivity for so long. But it's no bueno. Something happier. So if you're just joining us, we have tech issues. Think has flown in and out because of hers. Marla is having tech issues of us hearing a sentence without it breaking up. So our topic for tonight was to talk about your news source, Trustworthy. But we want to talk about that next week, which hopefully Laura will be joining us, and Dawn will be back for that too, who will add some valuable pieces to this conversation. So for this week, this is just kind of random. Is there something? Do you have a question? Do you have something that you want to ask us that we can answer for you? Put it in the box. We'll definitely address it. Do you have a comment? We'd love to get that too. Do you have a way that you direction that you want us to go? It's like free flow vegan stew tonight. It's kind of like when you're cooking, right? What spices are you going to put in? Well, you make it up on the spot. Or making up the show on the spot might be a little shorter than normal. Kimberly, help me out.
Colleen's got flop sweat.
Just a little exciting vegan news in my life. We got our first Vitamix the other day. Our very first Vitamix. How we have survived this long without it, I don't know. But they had this amazing deal on reconditioned Vitamix. Vitamixes.
It's the only way to go.
So we finally decided, okay, we're going to do it. And not only, honestly, I haven't even used it yet. My husband, who never is interested in cooking, and he can cook, he would rather I do it. He has been up and he made hummus. He's making smoothies every day, and he's getting super creative, just like Helene was just saying, throwing stuff in, and it's just been wonderful. We've had it for 4 days, and it's already been used more than most of the other appliances in my kitchen.
Yeah. It is such a valuable implement. And
it's so hard.
It is close to hearing Marla's wisdom.
I know that it just goes away. It's so frustrating. I know. It's incredibly frustrating for both sides. But Kelly just got a Vitamix too, and used it for the first time during our cooking demo.
With Helene last week. I know, so I know exactly the euphoria you're feeling, Kimberly. Getting a Vitamix for the first time, 7 years. How did I not have one, right? And my mom gifted it to me, and I love it.
Yeah.
So Sangeeta, because you've stepped into a really weird conversation, we're going to table the talk about the trusted newsworthy sources till next week, so Marla can actually lead, because she's going in and out, and we'll probably all be here next week. So we're kind of winging the stew this week and just talking about random topics. And poor Vegan Street is saying, use the soup function. It's not acceptable that she can't talk and do a full sentence. But we're opening it up to you, the viewers. What questions do you have? What things do you want us to talk about? We are pretty knowledgeable about almost everything vegan. A great topic, because it kind of goes with the topic we had. But I I want Marla to be able to chime in. You know, it'll get controversial. What about all these vegans who are supporting what's going on in Canada?
They suck.
Anti-vaxxers, pro-Trump, Nazi flags, white supremacists. Don't tread on me. Go ahead, Kimberly.
On my show on Monday, see, I told you, when I got something to say, spoon goes right up. On my show on Monday, I spent like 20 minutes talking about how my understanding of veganism is that we are leading with kindness and compassion always. And that's the whole basis of the definition that Donald Watson created. As I understand veganism, it is this loving, compassion-filled kindness that we make decisions through every single day, and it governs our whole world. So when I hear that there are vegans that are supporting things like what's going on in Ottawa, or when I heard that there were vegans at the January 6th insurrection, or there were vegans showing up and supporting Trump during all of his campaigns, I don't get it. Because to me, all of those things are so hate-filled and dangerous and mean-spirited. It doesn't connect to me at all. And to be anti-vax when we're supposed to be caring about one another and trying to make the world a more loving, caring, compassionate place, how is the idea that other people don't matter in alignment with that? I don't get it.
Kelly.
Yeah, Kimberly, I completely agree with you. And like, I know for a lot of the vegans that I have seen that are here, they tend to be, kind of anti-human, like they, like just from, when I know of their thoughts on, humans in the past, and I posted a few things on my wall, especially one from Jan Arden, who's this amazing Canadian singer, who posted a tweet that I reshared, which was like, nothing says freedom like barbecuing and like in front of your parliament or something, right? And it's this like just like barbecue after barbecue of dead animal flesh, and I'm like, how is this freedom, and how are vegans supporting this, when like obviously they're probably not eating nutritionally adequate diets there. They're probably just eating a whole bunch of meat, so like there's more animals suffering because more meat than normal is probably being eaten. But like there's also slaughterhouse trucks that have like freedom symbols on it. There's a convoy of cowboys that are apparently like, there's a group that's called Cowboys to the Convoy or something, like all this animal exploitation. And I just like you said, Kimberly, I don't understand how they're aligning with this. This is so not my definition of veganism as well.
I still want to hear what Marla has to say, except she's frozen. I feel so bad because she would add so much to this. Sangeeta, do you have anything to say?
Not really.
Okay.
I have one more comment.
Sure, Kimberly.
In response to Kelly, where you say that a lot of these vegans seem to be just like anti-human, that too is just not, for me, in alignment with what veganism is, because it's more than just compassion for the animals. We need to have compassion for each other. How do we expect to move our movement along when we're not connected? And I think Dawn even mentioned that last week, that we are fighting with each other, or like we're not coming from the same place. And we all have different experiences. That's how we can reach so many different people. But at the same time, if we feel like we hate people and we just love all of the animals,
Yeah.
So the animals are super lucky, but we can't just hate people. We've got to be able to make that come together, and that's just not an excuse to be supporting those things that make the world a scary, terrible place.
Right. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just going to say, before I cut out, one of the things that anti-racism activists say is that a lot of times misanthropy hurts people of color the most. You know, like people who are vulnerable financially. They're, you know, when you decide that you don't care about humanity, you don't care that their villages are destroyed. You don't care that they're under a pile of rubble. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of times that kind of decision that all people suck hurts people of color the most, you know. So.
That's a excuse me, a really interesting perspective. Actually, you know, it's true that you can't. I don't always like people. I'm open about that. They're not always my favorite people. People are not always my favorite people. But in the course of a day, I could have feelings of I'm not doing what I do anymore because of people. Because people have done things or said things in the course of that day that make me question why I'm even bothering. But then somebody steps up out of the blue and randomly and does something that gives me faith in the human race and that people are kind. Overall, people are decent people. People are decent human beings. They're not all bad. And there's more of them or more of us than there are of them. And that's what we have to keep remembering, because we can get very jaded incredibly quickly and say the things like, gosh, I hate people. Well, no, I hate specific, but I dislike specific people. I don't like actions or words that are they're doing. And as a main question that we can put out to everybody is, how do we reach them? How do we facilitate change? And what can we do? What can we do as a collective positive force that is trying to move forward? How do we pull them under their fold of like science, reality, being decent and kind, and caring about the animals and humans at the same time? How do we do that? Hey, Rick, thanks for joining us. Oh, welcome to see that. Welcome to Speak Group, Kelly. Awesome.
Thanks, Rick.
So those are some great questions. Good, Marla.
Can you guys? Okay, I don't know. I have an idea. I've been thinking a lot lately about how other countries have fared with COVID and restrictions and all that stuff. And one of the things that's kind of popped up is that the countries that have the most trust, both within their cultures and to their government and that sort of thing, like Denmark, like Norway, like, you know, countries like that, have the best results because people are working. But I don't really know how to handle that.
You broke up, but I really want to know what you said.
Yeah.
Can you type it?
I'll put it in the comments.
Okay, awesome. Because I want to know. So, say, Gita, you want to go in the meantime?
Yeah. So, Marla, I think she mentioned Norway and Denmark. I don't think that is a fair comparison because those are not populous countries as US and India. You know, they are small countries. They don't have as much diversity that we have here in US, either geographical or racial or economic diversity. So we can't really compare what happens in smaller countries with what is happening in United States. one other thing I would say is that this whole COVID situation is incredibly complex, and no single human mind can completely analyze it in a rational way. And there is no good option. You have to choose between some really, really terrible options. And that is what creates this kind of a dissonance in the society. Because you could focus on one thing, this thing, or you could focus on this thing. And then there is this social media, which I know our topic was about misinformation, but it is also like, to touch upon that a little bit, not to start it, is that people are not seeking truth. People are seeking validation of their belief. And that is a major concern in terms of how this internet was supposed to bring people together, but on the contrary, it has created these huge divides that seem like not only that we can't bridge the divide, but they're growing day by day. Sorry, took a long.
No, that was fantastic. You're right. People are looking to fit in, and that's how cults are formed. That people are accepted for their weirdness, their quirks, their way of thinking that may be different from other ways of thinking, and that's what cults prey on. They prey on you not fitting into society so mainstream that they give you that warm, comforting feeling for being who you are, and then they just make you believe in what they believe in, and you feel accepted. So when you feel accepted, you do. Let's touch on what Marla wrote, and then Kelly, definitely. So I'll read it because I'll be Marla. One of the things that has come up in the conversations about COVID response and outcomes is high trust or low trust countries. The US is a very low trust, polarized nation. Yes, indeed, I agree that there are factors with small, more homogeneous nations, but being low trust has had bad outcomes for working together toward healthier nations. Yes. Sangeeta, do you want to say anything?
I think that those things are interrelated. The more diversity you have, less trust you have. That's human nature.
It's scary.
It is
Because
scary.
basically we're saying is if it's one nation of one skin color, of one religion, that they have a happier, more cohesive country than a country that's filled with diversity and thinking and free thought. Because I would say there's less free thought in that type of country potentially. So Kelly, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I was going to bring it back to veganism in that, vegans look at, like we kind of have this attitude of like, we're more woke. We see the atrocities that's going on and the connections between animal ag and government and all this. And so, we are, the fringe, so to speak. And so I think like so many vegans take that wokeness to the extreme where it's just sorry, my cat is that's my cat. Where you just like distrust anything and and it's hard to find that balance. And you could like, I'm sure all of us would agree, we have a healthy distrust of government, of big pharma and all that, but we also understand like we're able to decimate the information and understand when it's like for our health and for the betterment of our society, and then rather than just take that well, I don't trust them, therefore I'm not gonna do anything. And so, and I think that's what's for me personally has been so disappointing in what I'm seeing in our community, because we can't afford to have this divide that Sangeeta was talking about. But it you know, COVID was one thing, and now the vaccine was another thing, and now this convoy thing is just like it's just solidified it and divided even further because people have very strong beliefs one way or the other.
Oh, Marla's muted. She has something to say. Are you typing it? Okay, looks like Marla's typing some more. There you go. She agrees with you, Kelly. I feel so bad. It's like you're there, but you're
But
typing.
can I say something? It is not directly related to veganism, but I'm also involved in a bunch of village development projects in India. And you will be surprised that even there, even within a village, we see that when a village is comprised of people of one community, one caste, we have better success rate as opposed to those villages that have multiple castes. And so it's just the human tendency to, I don't know, I think we are still primitive in that way, and we have a long ways to go in terms of evolving as a one global tribe.
Sangeeta, can you talk about the caste system?
Oh my goodness. What do you want to know? That's such a huge topic in itself.
Well, I guess Cliff notes. Well, what if somebody is watching that doesn't know about the caste system at all?
Yeah, so I don't claim to know everything about it, or I don't claim to be an expert on that. But yeah, so those, if you look at the ancient Indian society and how it was divided, it's called like the four varnas. There was the Brahmin class was the priest class, and they focused on, like, you know, just being priests and studying and memorizing scriptures and things like that. And then there was the second, which was Kshatriya class, which was the warriors. And then the third varna was the trader class. They, you know, had businesses and trades. And then the fourth varna was, you know, the worker class. And that those the four varnas that the ancient society had, and it just kind of built upon that. And there was an element of untouchability, and it was, the more I read about it, that it was like it was not just that the people of these supposedly higher varnas didn't touch the lower varnas, but even within their castes, even within the Brahmins, they wouldn't. There were like eventually subcastes formed in that, and then they wouldn't eat anything that another Brahmin subcaste cooked. You know, it got to that level. I don't know why it evolved that way, but that's how it evolved. Yeah, I mean, I don't believe in it. Obviously, I married out of my caste, and I just don't get it. Like, how would you like believe in it? I don't know. But people do strongly believe even today.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Sangeeta, so I don't know if anyone's heard of the app Clubhouse, but it's a really, really cool app where you go into rooms, you listen to people talk, you go on stage and participate if you want. And there's a very big vegan Indian community there. And there's just a big Indian community in general in Clubhouse. And there's always arguments going on about how veganism is casteist.
It
Can you
is
explain
caste.
how that might be? Because I'm the same. I don't quite grasp caste, the caste system. So,
Yeah.
when I'll go in and I'll listen, but I'll never participate in the conversations because
Yeah.
I don't understand the connection.
Yeah. So the higher castes became vegetarian along the way. They weren't always vegetarian, but they became majoritarily vegetarian. And some of those are now vegan, like I am one of them, if you want to say. But again, we talked about intersectionality. They don't understand. Many of them don't understand. Many of them, like here also, many of the Brahmins don't understand the privilege. Many of the men don't understand their privilege. And it is more so because in India there is a affirmative action for the lower caste communities, like they have seats in the schools and colleges and jobs, and it is easier to then blame reservation system. If you were a Brahmin and you didn't get the job you wanted, then it is easier to blame, oh, I didn't get my job because there is this reservation for this lower caste person who took my job. And so it is hard for them to understand their privilege. I have had conversations with vegans, and I mentioned last week also that I do need to work more on that to bring intersectionality to the Indian vegan community. Sorry, I don't know if I'm making sense.
You are
Or
making
if you can
sense.
hear me.
But Marla's going to say goodnight. So thank you, Marla. I'm so sorry about this, but you added what you could. We'll definitely see you next week. So what an interesting topic. And I wish we could hear more of Marla because I know she has a lot to say. So, and this is a great time. Thank you, Sangeeta, because it's important to learn about different cultures and what happens there, and even bringing it back to veganism is really cool. So, anything else we want to talk about, ladies? Because if we go shorter this week, a couple of us won't mind. So, oh, and we just lost Sangeeta. So it is looking like we are going to cut this show short. And next week, we're definitely going to talk about the newsworthy trust. Is your news source trustworthy? Because we all do. We've all done it. We've all shared something that potentially was or is not true. Because we just shared it. We live in a world where you can't just take something from somebody and share it to somebody else because it might not be true. And a lot of people post stuff, especially with our election. A lot of people post stuff, and with COVID and masks and all this stuff, and they don't research. Research, it's not research. It's going and looking stuff up for yourself to see if it's real or not. Research involves a long drawn out process of steps it's scientifically entailed. We're not researching. We're going and looking up on the internet. Go to snopes.com or just, is this real? And some stuff seems to be really like, wow, that seems legitimate. And then it's like, no, not true, Kelly.
It's not even the articles I'm finding with vegans. Like, I will find simple memes that will be like a Keanu Reeves meme with some heavy vegan message. I'm like, Keanu Reeves did not say that. Why are you sharing that? Keanu Reeves is not a vegan. I love Keanu Reeves. Don't get me wrong, but he's not vegan. He did not say that about animals or whatever, right? So it's just like, it's not even like the stuff where which we know probably for us looks fake, but like, yeah, it's just the simple stuff that we share of misinformation, of who, quotes from to try to validate veganism, but it doesn't validate veganism when like it's such a simple, false, with when we're sharing that information, that just, to me, it invalidates us, right? Because anyone can go and just say like, there's no way that person said that, and then so we just look like we're not trustworthy.
Plus, I don't want to have to share stuff and put, like, I didn't like in college the fact, what you have to do is you write a paper and you have to actually source what you put in that paper.
Mhm.
Well, there's a reason for that, because your papers need to be accurate and true and not plagiarized. So you have to do that. And where I think we're heading towards a world where we are going to have to do that with everything that we post. If you post anything anymore that has any substantive value, as opposed to it just, I mean, Facebook would not be a terrible place if it was dogs and cats and bunnies and rainbows and food.
Mhm.
It wouldn't be such a horrible place to be. But anything else, even with food, well, how did you make that? Where did you source that food? I mean, Marla Rose just posted something today I saw earlier. I think it was about our thoughts and feelings about pictures as vegans. What we see and what we see as something that's so benign, and what we internalize as vegans when we look at that picture. And if you're friends with her, go check that out, because it was actually a really cool post. She's not here to say something about it, but it was like, we see a child petting a dog, and as vegans we think, is that child supervised? Is that dog trained? Is the dog treating that dog well? Is the child, treating that dog well? The dog treated the child well, or either way. But we have different thoughts when we, like, I see tofu, is it organic? Non-organic tofu is not good for you. Don't do that. like what? Eat what's on your plate. If it's healthy and vegan, good. Outside of that, level up if you choose. But doesn't mean I don't have thoughts and feelings that I don't share publicly or in writing, or that I only share in my house. Because my house is my sacred, safe space that I can say anything that I want. So, and no one can say boo about that, because you don't know what I say. Let's see. Patricia, I'm glad that you're here. And even as vegans, we get attacked if it is not healthy, salt-free oil. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
JL Fields is a perfect example of, if you follow any of her groups, she's not a health vegan. She uses oil. She fries stuff. She eats. She likes food. She cooks it. She cooks the way she wants to cook it. If you're no oil, no salt, no sugar, and SOS vegan, whole foods, plant-based, you start saying anything in her groups, she'll kick you out, because that's not her group. So she doesn't care if you're no oil. Go make the recipe your way, but don't comment about this isn't healthy. No shit, some stuff isn't healthy.
And that's not why we're vegan. Like, to me, vegan, you're not vegan for health. Like, you're vegan for the animals, and if you want to be healthy, go ahead and be healthy. The animals don't care; they just don't want to eat.
It's a very good point. Very good point. Kimberly?
Well, I'm going to be joining all of these JL Fields groups, because I love that she has no tolerance for it. I did a whole fireside chat a couple months ago about it's not healthy. That comment every time you post something, like, who cares? If that's your thing, you want to be healthy, like you said, do it. Great. But, if I decide to make a grilled cheese sandwich with my follow your heart cheese, like, leave me alone about it. Yeah, I put vegan butter on there.
How about vegan mayo?
Oh,
We got the butter, put vegan mayo on the bread.
okay. Writing that down.
Let's go super not healthy. You go butter and mayo. Put some mustard and ketchup and whatever you want on there. Do whatever you want.
Put mustard in there. That's the secret That's the secret ingredient. A little bit of mustard in your grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese with pickles.
Oh,
and
that's
ketchup.
Yes, I just had that the other day.
I like it.
To your point, Kimberly, I think like do we want people to go vegan? Like, do we want a vegan world, or like, do we? Because if we're gonna tell people like go vegan and like here's all these amazing like substitutes that you can use that are plant-based and readily available in your supermarket, but no, like eat whole food plant-based, and they're not even like what's whole food plant-based, right? Like I'm not saying that the standard American or standard Canadian diet or is the best diet, but if we're saying like do make such significant change, like wrap your head around veganism and changing your diet and the social pressures that come with it and all that, and then go to this like whole food, like we're just not going to make vegans that way, so when I hear that message, I just feel like it's not about the animals, it's just about you, like like you're healthy and you eat a healthy diet, great. I think as vegans we sort of learn to be more healthy or just by default once we go vegan, but you're if you're gonna have that as your like really as your main message, we're just not gonna make vegans that
way. No, we're not.
Yeah.
You can't criticize and yell at people and think they're going to come over to your side. You can be nice to people and you can meet them where they are and you can find common ground and you can help and support and plant seeds. And guess what? People tend to, if people look at the facts and they do their research, if people look at the facts and they feel better and they see a difference in their eating and they watch some movies, read a couple books, they'll get there. They'll get there. And in the meantime, every meal that they eat that's vegan saves the planet, saves the animals, saves your health. It does a great thing. And it's not to say that we don't want people to, come and join this club that's incredibly dysfunctional over the course of the whole planet. But our goal is to try to make it more functional and have there are great, decent people out there. You just kind of have to find them and hopefully make them part of your support system, because support is one of the key things that'll help you in anything: losing weight, your marriage, your relationships, veganism, diet, healthy eating. Not drinking alcohol, all those things have support systems. Alcoholics are alcoholics because, they hang out with people who drink. Terrible analogy. Do it, Patricia, I just say. For me, it is about vegan for the animals, and I will support and plant seeds. I've helped people with offering support, offering good food. We say that a lot on the Vegan Stew.
Yep.
Gateway drug to veganism is vegan food. Yeah. All right, Kimberly, close us out.
Will do. All right. Thank you, Helene. Thank you, Kelly. And thank you to everyone who stuck it out. We had some technical issues through an early part, most of the show, really. So come back next week because we moved our news topics. We want to hear what Marla has to say. We want to discuss how do we identify those news sources that are true and honest and have done the work to make sure that we are sharing accurate information. So bring your questions, bring your suggestions, let us know, drop them in the comments, leave it in the chat, and we will address whatever it is that you, whatever comments you have about that. Also, don't forget to subscribe, because I forgot to mention this, so thank you, Helene, earlier. Subscribe to the Vegan Stew. Click the little bell so that you get notified when we're going live. Don't want to miss a single episode. So thank you again for being here. We'll see you next week. Bring your news-related questions. Reach out to any of us, of course, if you need help with going vegan, you have questions about it. Is there someone in your family who's going vegan and you have no idea what to do with that? Please reach out to any of us. We are so happy to help you. Have an amazing week. Thanks.